there is a right, and just because it's right doesn't mean it's not going to be hard. And in situations and circumstances, especially when it comes to change or transition, that harder right is often tied to what values are truly most sacred to you. If money is, or power, or security, or identity, or title, or whatever it is, that's all going to creep in there. Or is it integrity? Is it character? Whatever those values are, that's going to drive a person to make a decision on what they choose to think is the harder right.
Hey, welcome to Wealth Beyond Riches. Today, we're going to sit down with Steve Carter. Steve Carter is the best-selling author of The Thing Beneath the Thing. He has a new book, too, called Grieve, Breathe, and Receive, and we're going to unpack that today because he gets really authentic, really more than any leader that I've ever heard on, here's a story of where I had my dream job and everything was set, and I was about to take over one of the biggest churches in America, and it all came falling down, and it was not my timing. It wasn't my plan. And how do I work through that? Rather than achieve my way through it, how do I grieve through that? And he unpacks his story in this book, but we're going to talk about it today. And it was a really refreshing conversation. Steve currently serves as lead pastor at Christ Church of Oak Brook here in Oak Brook, Illinois. And he teaches regularly at churches and conferences and various businesses worldwide. He lives outside of Chicago. He likes the Chicago Bears and the Michigan Wolverines. So anyways, thanks so much for tuning in. We are now on this new YouTube channel. So if you have not subscribed, do that now so that you don't miss any future episodes. We're going to be transitioning off the Streamline Financial channel just to focus more on what you're looking for, which is one level deeper around money and around meaning and around purpose. And this is going to be good. Steve, so good to have you here, man.
Man, this is an absolute joy. What was it, almost a year and a half ago? We were in Trillis together and just got the chance to talk, and we feel like we have all these friends, mutual friends.
You know,
it's
even today as you're walking in, it's like so many people overlap.
Yeah.
So I think it was first through Jackie Glass.
Yes.
Who's on the show a year and a half, probably around that same time.
Yep.
So, and she connected us. She was in a leadership cohort of yours.
Yep. And
just spoke really highly of you, and even you using your influence to help push her forward in the work that she does, in preaching and teaching and coaching women. And so anyways, it's just a really cool connection. And it's awesome to have you here, man.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. One of the things, Steve, when I think about you is, one, you're a great leader. You're a pastor. You're an author. I'm halfway through your book, Grieve, Breathe, and Receive, which is just phenomenal. And I want to talk about that. But one of the things that I'd love to talk about is you've been through some significant career transitions. And I would say not on your timetable or plan or anything like that. What have you learned going through some of those transitions? What are some of the big lessons that you have pulled out of those? I know grieving is one of them, of a season of what once was, and heading towards whatever is next.
Yep.
What are the things that you pull away from a large career transition?
Yeah. Well, I think, most of what I would assume your listeners are, they're high achieving, driven, looking to do good work, good in the world. And you kind of build this expectation of what your life is going to be. And I had that. I had been working and building to lead arguably one of the most influential churches in the country.
Yeah.
And then all these stories break. And I'm talking New York Times, Chicago Tribune, about my mentor, and did not see it coming.
Yeah.
And then everywhere, doesn't matter if I'm in a Starbucks, doesn't matter if I'm on Twitter, doesn't matter. Wherever I am, people are bringing that, telling me what I need to do, what I should do. The noise, it's just spiraling, and you find yourself going, I didn't ask for this.
Yeah.
This isn't the way it's supposed to go. This is not the play that I drew up.
Yeah.
And so in those moments, you have to rely on something deeper.
Yeah.
So my grandfather, he's a multi-star general, buried at West Point. But about 100 plus years ago, a chaplain came to West Point, and he taught all the cadets arguably one of the most beautiful prayers. It's called the Cadets Prayer. Yeah. And one of the lines in it is, help us to choose the harder right, even when the lesser truth could be told. And then one another line is, help us to live above the common level of life. Like, and the sense of learning about, there is a right, and just because it's right doesn't mean it's not going to be hard. And in situations and circumstances, especially when it comes to change or transition, that harder right is often tied to what values are truly most sacred to you. If money is, or power, or security, or identity, or title, or whatever it is, that's all going to creep in there. Or is it integrity? Is it character? Is it the kingdom of God? Whatever those like values are, that's going to drive a person to make a decision on what they choose to think is the harder right. Yeah. And so for me, in the midst of all that noise, I just remember like just taking out my journal and I was talking to one of my mentors, and he just was saying like, what are your values? You got to have values, because then you can run everything through that. Yeah. And so I just started to write down, I want these words to be driving forces, because I think they're true of the way of Jesus. I think they're true of the aspirationally the kind of person I want to be. Yeah. And I think what's hard is you always think you're going to be a certain kind of person, and then you get put in a situation and you're like, I don't know if I want to be that kind of person, because I'm actually like, I'm speaking to a large audience. Yeah. I've paid really well. I love my congregation. I love my title. I'm, was doing chaplaincy work for the Bears at the time. Like I saw my life for the next 25 years. Yeah. And what's hard is all you see pre-transition is what you have. You don't see really what could be on the other side. Yeah. You see fear, you see stress, you see uncertainty, but you don't see clearly unless you actually know what the next lifeline truly is, or opportunity. Yeah. And so for me, that again, not knowing what was next, and to make a harder right decision, to just resign my position and stand up with the women, and really sent me into a season that was very much literally and metaphorically a desert season. Yeah. And so, because
you're in Arizona.
Yes, because I was in Arizona.
Yes.
That's right. So that's, I think in transitions, just what's also awesome about that is, for anyone in the midst of a transition, good transition, hard transition, your kids or grandkids are watching. They might not talk about it, but they are watching. Yeah. And I think how you embrace the change and the gray, I think gives a lot of fodder for them to begin to process through, oh, wow, maybe we're made of stronger stuff. Yeah. Maybe Dad made a harder right. Maybe I can make a harder right too. Yeah. Grandpa or Grandma made a harder right. Maybe I can make that. And that's where those values that are true to you become legacy values for what your last name or your family represents. Yeah. And so for me, I probably wouldn't have made a lot of the choices I made without running it through the filter of the harder right and the filter of, what will my kids see? Yeah. What do I want them to see? Yeah. So
you talk about in the book, I'm assuming one of the values is integrity. Yeah. And you talk about putting your son to bed and asking the question, hey, did you have integrity today? And how, man, that moment hit me. I think you painted a picture of driving to the church on Sunday morning and sitting there going, can I answer this question when I put my son to bed tonight? Did I have integrity today?
Yeah.
And using that as a filter to go, hey, I'm going to do what's right here.
That's right.
For somebody listening who's not familiar with the story, give me like 30 seconds on how this transition came upon you, rather than you coming upon it.
Yeah. The founder of Willow Creek, arguably at the time, led the largest leadership conference, Christian leadership conference, arguably one of the largest churches in the country. And Me Too stories came up of abuse of power, sexual abuse. And, I had been tapped on the shoulder to kind of step in as a lead teaching pastor, be the voice of the congregation.
Prior to all that
Prior
stuff.
to all this.
Yeah.
And not knowing this. And then just to be kind of surprised that these stories have been swirling in the ether for about 4 to 5 years prior.
Wow.
And so just to feel kind of betrayed in that, and then also to see the pain in what these women had to go through. Yeah. And so I just, like, for me, it just became clear, because especially when you add God and faith to the component, like, I just don't want to play with people's trust. I think one of the greatest gifts you can give, whether a staff, whether a family member, whether a spouse, whether a teammate, is to be a person who's worthy of trust. And safe plus consistent, again and again, over and over, makes you worthy of trust. Unsafe consistently makes you unworthy of trust. And safe inconsistently makes you a little sus when it comes to trust. And I think for me, I didn't want to play with people's trust, holding the Bible in my hand. And so that, with the integrity piece, even as you say that question, I mean, it still tears me up, because I always was the one who would ask my son that question. Started when he was 2 years old, all the way up till the time when this happened and he was in 5th grade. But there was the time I took my first stand and said, we have to speak on behalf of the women, to the elders. And I came home late, and I heard this pitter-patter on a hardwood floor, and my son comes up and goes, Dad, did you have integrity today? And I just said, I think I did. And he goes, I bet you did. And then he just went to bed. And I just, again, so proud that he asked me. But in that moment, a New York Times story drops on August 5th. And in that moment that you were describing, I'm looking in the mirror and I'm going, if I get home and he's heard about this story, he's going to ask me. And I'm either going to have to lie or just not come home tonight. And so that just kind of became a check to go, all right, we got to honor the harder right and make the tougher choice and resign.
So cool how the compound interest of your investment in him, obviously you were doing that somewhat for you, of like, hey, I need to ask this question every day. But to see oftentimes as parents, it's tough being a parent, because like our kids' teachers, they get to assess the kids all the time. And we don't often get those assessments, or to see the fruit of the stuff we've been planting into them. And man, to see that flip around and like bless you in that moment, like that's just cool, man. That's legacy. I was just talking to David Green from the Hobby Lobby, and he talks about the legacy is not something that you leave behind, but something that you put into motion. And just to see you putting that into motion when he was 2, and still going, like that's super cool. When you talk about values, outside of integrity, what other guiding values did you have in that season that you were like, hey, I need to really hone in on these?
One of them was curiosity, because I had a propensity to want to defend the organization at first, and to defend and self-preserve what I had. And you had to kind of like step outside that to get curious, to go, do I really want to know? Because there will be consequences on the other side, or realities that must be acted upon.
Yeah. Challenging your current beliefs.
Yes.
And loyalty and trust.
Yes.
Which is tough.
That's right. That's right. 2 was humility. And I think part of it is I never had a class on how to handle a massive scandal. You know, I started watching the show Scandal because it seemed like she knew what to do. But like I didn't know what to do. And so I think like part of it is humility to go, okay, I got to find people who are safe, that I can process this with, that I can have them ask me anything, that I can just really have to rely on some of their wisdom.
Yeah. You don't have to name names, but like who did you go to, or as a high level leader, how do you find those people?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's like you said, it's the investment before. So I think you kind of look at it through, hey, who is someone that has been in a similar situation? That's one piece.
Yeah.
2, who is someone who has never been in this situation, but thinks like the people who are running the organization.
Yeah.
So I just need to like, is the way that I'm processing gonna translate to this kind of thinker?
Yeah.
And then for me, it was just a lot of spiritual director, therapist, mentor, and just and then one person in particular, I don't mind mentioning his name, but John Orberg.
Yeah.
And he was someone who was kind of going through this from another angle, but he knew Willow. We had the same office. We had the same position in many ways.
Okay.
There's some similarities with us. But I would say just to have an older guy say, oh, and push me like, oh, that's your ego. Or that's, okay, I understand that. And just have some moments of affirmation and, you know, a little push when I needed it. And so that was really, that was a sweet thing to be able to have people in my life who in many ways felt like they're my own board of elders, you know, that could come and help me experience. And that was some of the other 2 words was wisdom and discernment. It was something I prayed for daily, is wisdom and discernment, because what is true? What is a lie? What have I believed is true, but is actually a lie? Like just that discernment to know the difference, and to have the right posture in the midst of it all.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I'm thinking of this. I'm going to look this up real quick.
Yeah.
But similar mentor of mine, he's 70, so he's ahead of me. Yeah. And he's awesome. He goes to like men's conferences, and he's like, me and my friend, we go and we just post up, and we just go, we listen to these 40-year-old guys come in and be like, oh, this is going on in my company. He's like, yeah, I've seen that a couple times.
Yep.
Yeah, I've seen that. So to have that is so valuable. Even just hey, you're not alone.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yep.
But he has this framework he's been using for 50 years. He learned it at Michigan State University. So that's the second time I brought that up today. I'm sorry.
It's probably plagiarized. Just
well,
kidding.
well, MSU, my business partner's from MSU. He calls it Make Stuff Up University. So maybe this is all made up.
I love it. That's so good. That's so good.
He's like, I went to MSU, right? But it's the ADAPT framework.
Okay.
Activate your. So this is for any time there's change or transition.
Yeah.
I'm saying this for me because this is helpful. I just used this the other day. Activate your commitment.
Yeah.
Realize you're in the middle of a transition. D, develop and assess your resources. Okay. Who's in my corner?
Yep.
Who do I have to reach out to? Adjust your expectations. This is not what I expected.
Yep.
What are the possibilities ahead? Prioritize, put a plan in place. And then T is just transition.
Man.
And it can be used for he's been using it for 50 years.
So good.
He texted it to me 6 months ago, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is great.
Tim, for you, what would be the easiest of those 5 letters? What would be the hardest?
Oh, man. Hardest is adjusting expectations.
Yeah, that's what I would say. Me too.
It's
totally.
It's like, no, this is what I thought it was going to be.
Right.
I want I'm going to look for people to blame for why it's not the way I thought it was going to be. I'm going to look for reasons to keep hanging on to what I have. I commend you for in your position. I would probably go quickly to defend the organization, be loyal. Like, this is what I signed up because I'm all in. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to all of a sudden not. I don't know. Curiosity for me would feel like I'm not all in all of a sudden, and that's hard.
Yeah.
My wife and I just had a conversation around the same thing yesterday. The easiest, I think the transition, like once I did all those other 4 things, then I'd be ready to go.
Yep.
Be like, all right, let's do this.
That's good.
Yeah. What about for you?
I think the D. I think the resources one.
Yeah.
What's the D word?
It was develop and assess your resources. I had to look it up too.
Yeah, develop and assess resources.
Yeah.
I think just knowing like the team that I had around me of, just to go, that is a resource to kind of pressure test the values that I had, and just to be a real guiding sense of wisdom.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm changing mine. My hardest one would be activate your commitment. They're just like, hey, this is a change.
It is change.
That'd be harder for sure. So, great question, man. I like it when people ask me questions. This is great. So, as you adjusted your expectations for what you thought life was like and what you thought the future was going to be like, you were about to be like you were one of the heir apparents to this organization, a huge organization. You don't know this. We actually met a long time ago. We didn't meet, but I came to Willow, saw you speak. You had a concrete block on the stage.
Oh yeah.
And you stepped into this is a while ago.
Yeah.
And you stepped into like some shoes that were stuck in the concrete block.
Yes.
Powerful illustration.
Oh, yeah.
But you were stepping into something, you had to adjust expectations. And part of that was just grieving what you thought it was going to be. And you've been so generous to share your story of having to grieve and walking through grief, and you're now using that story to help others walk through grief.
Yeah.
What would you say to somebody who's walking through a large career transition, or even starting the process of, man, I might have to grieve that this season's coming to an end?
Yeah.
What's a place to start for someone like that?
Well, I mean, I think again, it's being someone who is so goal oriented for myself. I knew how to achieve. I didn't know how to grieve, and it wasn't until one moment I felt like I got woken up in the middle of the night, and I just felt like this sense within, like, you can't achieve your way out of this. You can only grieve your way through it. And I didn't know how to grieve. And I wrote down in my journal, go to the desert and wait for instructions. And I thought it was going to be metaphorical. Like I didn't think it was going to be literal. But Eugene Peterson has said before, all theology is rooted in topography or geography. And so the desert, comes from the word deserted.
Yeah.
What does it feel like when you're deserted and in the deserted place? And it's just dirt and rock and cactus. And so I would just wake up early mornings and I started reading about this. And I think I was in a season of like still anger and frustration and sadness. And it wasn't until I realized I don't have the musculature for grief, number one. Number two, no one taught me how to grieve. If I teared up, I felt like I got shame as a child in my childhood, and so you just kind of like learn to like lock it up. And,
suck it up, buttercup.
Exactly. And so what I came to realize is all grief is honoring what comes up when change shows up. So you can have good grief. Your child has graduated high school and is transitioning to an incredible university. That's
easy to. This is like too close to home.
I know. There's a good grief there. Like he or she did it. And yet it's change. The dinner table is going to be different. The kind of atmosphere in the house is going to be different. it's just going to be different. And to have those moments to sit and go, not stuff them, but to honor that and say, and I really, for my son, he's a senior, like I'm going to miss Emerson.
Yeah.
And so I think what I started to realize was I didn't know how to do it. And this visual came, and it might have been through talking with a friend or maybe on a walk or something, but remember when like you were a kid and you're skateboarding and you fall and you come inside, you got like a knees bleeding and your mom or dad pull out the ugliest brown hydrogen peroxide, right? You know, and you're like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And they just pour it and your knee turns to pussing white and you're like, what is going on? And they clean.
My family used like the Q-tip.
Oh gosh.
Just like dab it.
Oh.
But then I'm married into a medical family and they did the pour. Just pour over.
Pour, like just covered in it, you know. And then they'd clean it out, put a Band-Aid on it. And you'd have a Band-Aid there, and then the next day they'd do it again, put a new Band-Aid on it. And I started to think about that. Like, with this change, with this sadness, with this sense of betrayal, with all these emotions, what if I could just almost take 15 minutes every day and I'm just going to clean out that wound.
Wow.
Just to sit with it. And again, it could be good grief.
Yeah.
It could be, oh my gosh, like I'm going to have to sit with, you know, come next August or coming September, having to sit with the house being different with my son being gone. But to, instead of stuffing it, because unchecked grief becomes grievances. And they become like Jenga blocks. And they build, and they will crush your joy. They will crush your spirit. It will just have to live and fester within. And I think the more that we can just sit with and then invite the Lord into it, and also just recognize that God understands change. That Jesus understands change and not getting what you had hoped or desired, or actually getting something that you didn't even deserve. And so just a simple prayer I would pray is, Lord, father me through this. Father me through this change. Father me through this pain. Father me through this in a way that would bring honor to you. And what I came across one day was that Holy Weekend really became kind of a mantra for me, because, you know, we think about Good Friday and, you know, what makes that day good when a perfect man got what he didn't deserve. And whenever you get those moments of grief or something you didn't deserve, you're kind of in your own personal Friday. You're in grief. But in most churches, we don't talk about Saturday. And to, you know, the Desert Mothers and Fathers in the first church and leaders, and they would often refer to it as Silent Saturday, because those disciples had no idea what was going to happen. And there you move from being in grief to trying to get through grief. I got to get through it. Whatever I'm going to do, I'm just going to get through it. I'm either going to achieve my way out of it. I'm going to do what I can. And it has like the historical roots of the 40 years of wandering in the desert, where when the Hebrew people crossed over the Red Sea, they were a month's journey away from the Promised Land, but it took them almost 500 months. Because it's one thing to leave Egypt, it's another thing to have Egypt leave you. And part of that wandering for me was cleaning my heart so that I could trust people again. And in the midst of that Saturday, I started to pray, Lord, surprise me. And that's what Easter Sunday is. It's a surprise. A tomb is empty. Hope is here. Like death was defeated. New life can begin. And I think anytime you are kind of like picking up that metaphorical, you know, Band-Aid and hydrogen peroxide to just talk about that grief, ask yourself, which day of Holy Weekend am I in? Am I in Friday? Am I in it? Am I trying to get through it? And like, do I hate the wait? Am I wasting the wait? Am I winning the wait? And am I setting myself up for the surprise? And, you know, 6 years later, I've come to actually thank God for the experience I went through in 2018. I never saw Christ Church of Oak Brook as a part of my story. I always held them in high regard, but God did. And on the other side of transition, I always knew Romans 8:28. God works all things together for the good. But I didn't know it. And on the other side of transition, when you see God at work, you realize, oh, he is working even when I don't see it.
Yeah.
He is working when I don't feel it.
Yeah.
But I still got to do my work of showing up to the grief and bringing that grief before him and letting him father me through it.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good, man. I even think about that you're going to know the Greek word. I'm not a scholar or theologian, but it's like gnosko. It's like the experiential knowledge of something. And so like being able to experience, oh, God works all things for good. Like you saw it.
Yeah.
And you can go back to that moment and go, no, he is good because I've been there.
Yeah. We in spiritual formation, they'll talk about simple, complex, sacred. So we have these simple truths, God will never leave me nor forsake me. It's a simple truth. It's tweetable. And then complexity shows up.
Yeah.
And you're in the desert.
Yeah.
Or you're in this moment of adversity. Or you're in this moment of something happening. You just didn't see it coming. And you wonder, God, are you actually with me?
Yeah.
Are you with me even in this?
Yeah.
And once you discover that simple truth is true even in the complexity, that experiential knowledge makes that simple truth a sacred truth. It becomes weighty. And all of a sudden you're like, oh no, I know. You get around those people. It's like when you go to a conference or you hear someone talk on some topic and you're like, you know it up here, but it hasn't worked its way through experientially.
Yeah.
But then when you hear someone, you're like, oh, they've been through it and they're still on the journey.
Yeah.
I'll listen to them any day of the week, at least on that topic.
Yeah. Yeah. What was that you referenced an Andy Stanley quote in the book of whoever predicted their resurrection and then pulled it off, I'm going to listen to whatever that guy says.
Yeah. So, if anyone walks around this earth and is telling people he's going to die and that he's going to rise 3 days later and actually pulls it off, you should just go with whatever that guy says. It's a great Andy Stanley line.
What? So this is personal for me. My daughter is 17.
Oh, nice.
Senior.
Yeah.
How are you preparing to grieve Emerson going to school? Because I think I'm feeling those things, but I'm like, I don't know what to do with some of this stuff because this is my oldest as well.
Yeah. It's probably once a month topic of conversation with my therapist.
Yeah.
I think it's on multiple levels. One is I just really like him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I really genuinely think he is salt of the earth. Yeah. And he asks me hard questions. We play ping pong pretty much every night. Like, we just it's a very uniquely graced relationship.
Yeah.
And he is like this, has this way at just calming the energy of the house. And probably a little bit I'm afraid. Just like removing that. And I'm like, oh man.
Our peacemaker's gone.
You got it, totally. So I think just trying to talk through that. And then also feeling in this moment like, man, I'm feeling myself, which started probably like the day he finished junior year. I started to feel myself start to pull away in self-protection.
Yeah.
And I just was like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
But I've never done this before.
Yeah.
And so trying to just realize, oh no, it's the grief, and this is a change.
Yeah.
But it will be different. But again, just like we've experienced in these last 6 years, different's not always bad.
Yeah.
It's just different, and yet oftentimes different leads to different better.
Yeah.
And I think this is one of those opportunities that I think is going to lead to different better.
Yeah. That's good, man. That's super helpful. I feel like I moved to not smothering, but I like lean in more, but not in sometimes not in a healthy way.
Yeah.
Of like, I have so many things to tell you before you go. Like, sit down and listen. You want to hear a sermon right now, right? And she doesn't. It's weird.
It's weird.
Oh, man. When you were going through that transition and you're at the beginning stages, you talked about turning up the volume on your life of like, I'm just going to achieve my way out of this. Yeah. I feel like a lot of people probably do the same thing.
Yeah.
Very common. How'd you get to the point of realizing like, oh, I can't. Like what was the breaking point of that for you, where you went, I think I need to process this, not achieve this?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think going back to childhood, before my parents were believers, my house was like so tense. It was walking on eggshells. I mean, there's a lot of emotional abuse, and I had sports to channel my anger, and now, like, as a pastor, you don't really have that, and so you're just sitting here going, man, how I've ever coped with sadness was through, I'm gonna take it out on this other person, or I'm gonna score more points, or I'm gonna do better here, and I'm gonna prove this person wrong. Well, put that in like the church world. You sit there and you're like, okay, if you're at arguably one of the most impactful churches in the country, the auditorium seats 7,200 seats. There's not very many bigger rooms than this, and so I think, for some of the people listening, you have to recognize, you might be at what feels like the top. And that might be the top of scale that you ever get to. Doesn't mean that you're not going to be impactful in another place or another season or another. But I think I just had to come to the reality, there's maybe 3 other churches that are bigger. And they're not looking for a senior pastor. And I wouldn't fit there. So it was an easy way to go, okay, then am I going to build something to try to, I could never do what Bill did to build Willow. I don't have those skills. And so all of a sudden, I think I had to like sit with, wow, like this is going to be different. Now, is it going to be different worse? Or could it be different better? And that piece just, I think, allowed me to start to understand what surrender meant. The founder of the Salvation Army says, the greatness, or the measure of a man's power, or the greatness of a man's power is his measure of surrender. And just thinking like, oh man, it's in that going, oh Lord, I don't know what to do, that I think God was able to start to teach me. Or as John Ortberg says, that in the first 3 steps of the 12 steps, it was a breath prayer that simply went, I can't, God can, I think I'll let him. And I think I just got to that point where it's like, I can't achieve my way out of this. But God, you can somehow heal me. I think I just have to let you. And so that was kind of the genesis of it all.
That's awesome. And I think about something that struck me about Jesus this past year that sounds simple, talking about simple, complex, and sacred, is like he had the strength to surrender. Like reading through the Gospel of John, like so many times. It's like, hey, there's a big crowd here. Why don't you go do some more of those things? And he was like, no. I have a plan. I have a role. I have a job, and I need to get it done. And that required so much strength to be wrongfully accused, to have lies, insults hurled, beaten up. Like he had strength to surrender. That requires a ton of strength.
That's right.
And it's cool that God gave you that strength to go, I can't do it.
Yeah, I think most of the days, a lot of the days, I mean, I was questioning and wondering and bitter, and I wanted to find someone to blame myself. And it again, it was like in the same hour I could be in both Friday or Saturday, back to Friday, jump to Sunday, back to Saturday. Like the storms of grief and transition, just the waves keep crashing. But the more you start to sit with it, the more it settles.
And clean the wound.
Exactly. So,
dude, that's such a good visual. Because you think of a scab, or especially a big one like that, it's like everyone has the expectations this is going to take time.
Totally.
And with transition and change, I feel like most often we're like, tomorrow. Like I want it done.
Right.
I want that church to call tomorrow and say, "Hey, Steve, we got a role for you."
Yes, exactly.
But God does the work in the desert, which is the hard part. Talk about grief and hope for a minute.
Yeah.
How do those two work together? Because sometimes it's like I feel like I can grieve sometimes, but how do you allow them to coexist? How do you move into hope?
Yeah, well, in 1 Thessalonians 4:13, it says, we don't grieve like the rest of mankind. We grieve with hope, which, to your point, wait, grieve and hope? How does that even make sense? But I think central to our faith is that we are people of hope. And, I've this year done a handful of funerals and, and trying to set that same stage of grieving with hope, that both can be true. And for people who aren't on a faith journey, they probably don't have that hope. They have that grief. But I think that's one of the beautiful markers of the way of Jesus. And what's interesting is back in the days of the Apostle Paul and Jesus, Rome thought hope was like a mental illness. They did not want you to have hope. They thought it was like very whimsical and flimsy. It's like, I hope, the Bears make it to the Super Bowl. I hope that there's no traffic on my drive home today.
Which the Bears comment sounds way less crazy today than it does 6 months ago.
100%, right? But I think in both of those examples, what am I preaching underneath with my use of hope is uncertainty. I don't know. I don't know. And that's how we use hope right now. But biblical hope was different. And so any of you listening right now, think about some change that you're going through, some situation that it could be in the work, it could be with a family member, it could be with a relationship, it could be with just something in your life where there's something that, man, you just wish was a little bit different. And here's what you do to dare to actually have hope. You desire something better. Now, this sounds like really woo-woo, but truly be told, like, what you desire isn't just what you want, your agenda. You desire, if heaven were to invade this relationship, what would God desire? If heaven were to actually invade this kind of deserted desert season, what would God desire? 2, you have to believe that anything is possible. And this is where everyone's like, oh my gosh, this is as whimsy as it gets. What do you mean anything is possible? Well, as Christians, if the tomb is empty, then anything is possible, as Pastor Joby Martin says. And you have to ask yourself, what's harder, to raise a man from the dead or to fix this broken relationship? What's actually harder, to raise a man from the dead or to help you transition well into the next season of life? And when you begin to sit there and go, oh man, I'm desiring heaven to invade, I'm believing anything is possible, then resurrection brings certainty that God is a God of hope. God is a God of continually working on our behalf. And if you believe that, then you can expect God's goodness with confidence is on its way. And you just have to hold that. And it might not happen in our timing. And that's always tricky. I'm 6 years later, after 2018, of walking, healing, working the steps in my own way, just trying to take that kind of grieving, but still holding on to hope. And then once you get to the other side of it, you're like, oh yeah, it's absolutely 1,000% true. The beauty of biblical hope.
That's awesome. Does stuff still pop up for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's there are moments it doesn't as much anymore,
right?
And sometimes I will laugh because I'll be like, oh, that used to get to me, I think for me, visuals are really, really helpful, and so I refer to Willow as I refer to all of the places that I've been able to serve at in a church as my alma mater. My time in college was awesome. It wasn't perfect. I had my heart broken. I met some of the coolest people on the planet. I had some incredible professors. It was a great experience. I wouldn't change it for the world. Same thing's true about Willow. And then the second one is, you know, I dated a girl in college, and we break up, and she cuts her hair. And she still lived at the same address. She had the same name.
Yeah.
But I don't think she was the same girl. Huh. And I think that's true for better at Willow right now. It has the same name, same address.
Yeah.
She's not the same organization that when I was there. Yeah. And I think Sean Williams and team, I think they're doing a really good job, and I cheer them on. And I look at them and I just go, oh, it's not the same place. Yeah. And that's a great, they've taken a step forward and to really lead. And thanks be to God. If they win, the kingdom wins. Yeah. So I think it's just been able for me to kind of go, when something flares up, I can go, okay, this is still unprocessed grief or a sense of I still have unforgiveness in my heart regarding one of the 5 people who hurt me. Yeah. Or, man, something tripped, and I can go, but you had the same thing happen in your alma mater, and you rep your alma mater. Yeah. Or it is different, and it's not the same, but it's different better there, and it's different better for me at Christ Church. And thanks be to God.
That's awesome. Yeah. You've moved from the hydrogen peroxide pour to the Q-tip. It's like, you know what? This used to be a pour. Yeah, this is nothing.
This is right. This is right. This is right.
It still hurts.
It still hurts.
Yep. That's awesome, man. Let's switch gears for a second.
Yeah. Male modeling. Tell you all about it.
Yes,
it's been a great
I've just
season
been wondering
for me.
how to break into the career. It's difficult, being 40. Want to talk about generosity for a second. Yeah. And, I think I love to talk about generosity because it doesn't get talked about enough, I think. Yeah. And the caveat is generous people aren't walking around being like, hey, guess what? Guess what I did the other day? Yeah. There's a couple of people on Instagram who do a good job of that. But and you're one of the most thoughtful Instagrammers I know, by the way. You have a written description of like what the photo is and what it means to you, and like that always just hits me. But when you think about generosity, what does it mean to you? And I just love to hear from your perspective because other people learn from that, and they can learn from what generosity means to somebody.
Yeah. Do you ever read passages in the scriptures and just kind of go, I don't know if that's actually true. And I think as a teacher, I always want to show up with a curiosity and press and push, and whether through science, whether through the culture, the ancient Near East, whether through just concepts, is that still true today? Yeah. One of the last things Paul says to the church in Ephesus when he's leaving, he says, it is more blessed, and he's quoting something that Jesus said, it is more blessed to give than to receive. Yeah. and my question is it? Yeah. Because we're really good at receiving. Yeah. But is it more blessed to give than to receive? Because at the heartbeat of generosity are people who believe that it is more blessed to give than to receive. Yeah. And so I started to study this, and Stanford, Notre Dame, Pittsburgh, started to really begin to recognize that there's something about generous people that they call it the happiness trifecta, where dopamine, serotonin, and oxytocin is released every time that you are generous consistently. And in your generosity, what it does is it pushes cortisol away. Cortisol, for many of us, is what is attacking our bodies. It's what happens when we're not trusting, when we're living in stress, that we're under attack, we don't have what it takes.
And according to the internet, it's all in my stomach right now.
That's right. And so generosity, when we're that kind of person, actually makes us have this sense of true joy. And so I started okay, if that's true, it's better for our actual bodies. What about our time? And Stanford said that people who volunteer, who are generous with their time, live on average 4 years longer than somebody who isn't generous with their time. Yeah. Because they have something to show up for. Yeah. When you don't have something to show up for, you're just counting the days. Yeah. I want to live 4 years longer with my kids and my grandkids. But if you think about generosity with your resources, I mean, just recognizing like, man, you can't take all of this money into the next reality.
Yeah.
And I think about it going, how am I using my resources to further God's kingdom, whether in the church, whether in not-for-profit sector, whether through creating helpful and setting up family members, whatever that is for you. Like, but there's a beauty in generosity. But it even goes beyond that. Like, I think your talent. God actually gave every single person, Christ follower, charisma. And charis is where we get the word grace, and ma is the grace that's been given is a gift to be given. And that word is where we get the spiritual gift word. And we all have these gifts. And so there are so many brilliant people where they're using their charisma in the marketplace beautifully, great, but not in the local church or in their community. And so, but when you actually put that gift on display, man, it's actually more blessed for your life because you actually get to feel the thrill of God using you. The more that we live with our time, our talent, our treasure, then it leads to two others. And these two aren't talked about when it comes to generosity. And this is why generosity is so important to me, is when you become more generous with your testimony. If you have a story where God has done something, God has healed something, God has shown you something, God has gifted you something, it is an only God's story. That is a testimony to be shared. And when you're generous with that story, people get to see, oh man, this God is actually true, or more true than I thought this God actually was before I heard that testimony. When you are more generous because you believe it is more blessed to give than to receive with your time, your talent, your treasure, and your testimony, it will change the way you think about other people. Billions of dollars every single day are pumped into media to have us be divided from one another. And instead of actually being someone who's suspicious, we will give people the benefit of the doubt. And what I began to recognize is it's either generous with my time or I'm going to be, and every time I'm generous, I'm building that spiritual musculature. Every time I'm not generous, it's not creating generosity of time. It's creating controlling my schedule because it's my schedule. Instead of generosity with my treasure, it is controlling my security, my future. It's instead of like generosity with my talent, it is controlling my success. Like. Or instead of like testimony, generosity with my testimony, it is controlling my story. I don't want anybody to know. I'm going to image manage everything. And instead of like generosity of thinking, it's controlling and suspicious. And I just put that in front of someone and go, who do you want to be? And the most generous people, man, they walk around and there's a lightness. They trust. They're just freer. And controlling people, I don't know about you, they just stress me out. I'm walking on eggshells. I don't want to be around that. And doesn't mean I won't be to like sit and try to help and pastor, but like it's not the people I'm going to choose to be around. And I think everyone has to look in the mirror and go, do I believe that scripture is true? And if it is, why am I not leaning into the blessing that comes to be more generous than to just be, what can I get? What can I take? What can I grab? And so that for me is what's so important and so beautiful about the gift of generosity.
And like a great challenge for anybody is like test it. Try it out.
That's right. Malachi says that, Put God to the test in that.
See what happens. Report back in the comments. Who modeled this for you? Like, I think generosity it's taught, and from what you're saying, it's like you do an incredible job teaching on it, but it's one of those experiential things. Where did you see that in life?
Oh man, so many places. I think my time in West Michigan, people grew up believing in the beauty of the tithe, and I think they were just like very like, this is first fruits. This is this is all God's.
Yeah.
And I think it was different than growing up in Southern California.
Yeah.
I might see it in a little bit, but felt like people were more anxious. People were more like, got to get ahead, got to keep climbing, got to keep achieving.
Yeah.
I think I saw that in, each of those categories differently.
Yeah.
I watched people be so generous with their time.
Yeah.
Volunteering. Watch people be so generous. And so much of my life is based on the generosity of others. And so, I can go through a list of pastors. I can go through a list of congregants. I can go through a list of business leaders who, I think was the single greatest leader I've ever been around. He's not talked about. Nobody really knows him, but he was the former CEO of Herman Miller, and his name is Mike Volkema. He followed Max Dupree.
Okay.
Mike Volkema, hands down, best leader. And in a season of real difficulty at a church I was at in Grand Rapids, he came and served. And his 2 days a week was the comparison of my 2 weeks. Just the mental fortitude, horsepower to build, see, in the midst of chaos and confusion and adversity. It was almost like Tom Brady, where everything got clearer. Where everybody else seemed to get frantic, he just got clearer. And I just got to see someone going, you could be on a boat right now, and you're here because you believe in the local church, and you're here pouring into younger church leaders. The CEO of Ace Hardware, John Van Huysen, right now, he'll say, and he's given me some time, and he's just like, you have a more important job than I do. And I'm like, he's like, because he's like, your job's about eternity.
Yeah.
And
it's life and death.
Life and death.
I'm making tools.
Exactly. Exactly. And so just but for him, to be able to take time out of when you have 6,000 stores and to be able to ask questions and just to him to, if I shoot him an email, he's shoots it right back. And you watch that level. The former CEO of CDW, who passed a few years ago, and Mr. Richards was Tom Richards was one unbelievable. He was a point guard. He played on the Pittsburgh basketball team. His wife was a shooting guard on the Pittsburgh women's basketball team. But the way he led was like a point guard, and he could set people up, and he's just class. And I watched generosity through the way they gave to the church, the way they gave of their time, again, I see these pictures, and it's not just in, did this person tithe? No, it's in a way of life.
Yeah.
And when you see people who have that whole set of their life to bring that, you go, that is so contagious and so attractive. That is an attractive witness of Christ for me personally.
Yeah, I love that. And I love that not only do you have the stories of being a recipient of their generosity, but also just watching them give to others. There's that, it's that third person in the story that I don't think is talked about all that much in generosity. When I was at my favorite donut shop in the world in Palatine, Illinois, Spunky Dunkers.
Spunky Dunkers, let's go. Open 24 hours.
Yeah, it's so good. And I had a client in Arlington Heights, and so whenever I saw Bernadine, I'd go up there, and I'd go an hour early, go to Spunky Dunkers. I'm in line one morning. It was a Monday or Tuesday morning, and I'm fourth in line. And the cashier is like, hey, just to let everybody know, credit card machine's broken, so we're only taking cash. The guy in front of me, almost flips his lid. Just is you could just, he wasn't yelling quite yet, but he did exclaim a couple things, and his body language was like his day just got real bad. I never carry cash. Never. But I was like, oh my gosh, I actually have cash. Because immediately I'm like, okay, do it. Oh, I actually have some cash. So I see this guy in front of me, and I'm just like, he's like, what? I'm like, hey, what were you going to order? And he's like, a donut and coffee. I'm like, I got you, man. This is your lucky day, because I never have cash, but I do. Anyways, I buy him the stuff. He's grateful. He leaves. But I get up and I look in the cashier's eyes, and they're just like, oh my gosh, thank you. Because their day was about to get really rough.
Totally.
And they got to witness it. And obviously I'm not self-promoting here, because it was $2.50. But it taught me of oh my gosh, I got to receive the joy of helping somebody turn their bad day into good. Yeah. But then there was someone else whose bad day went good too.
Is we refer to that as generosity of spirit.
Yeah.
There's something in that sense, and like it has that ability to shift the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Right? Like all of a sudden, like you look in those the tellers, like the behind the counter's eyes, and going, oh, that could have been, we didn't cause this. We didn't be the ones who woke up and be like, okay, Zell's down or whatever the thing's called. Like it's down, like, but to have someone say, no, it's okay. And just to ease that person, ease that person. I mean, it's just, that is the power of good generosity.
So good.
Yeah.
I always love to leave on this note. One last question. And we didn't prep this. We actually didn't prep any of these questions. I did, but Steve's just so good. What is one thing you're loving right now? It could be a product. This can be trite and simple. This can be extravagant, but just like one thing you're loving right now.
And I love my family, and so I think that's probably like everyone would be like, oh, you're supposed to say that. But like I like it's just been a sweet season to be there, and I think it's because during those 6 years, I was on the road. Averaged 165 nights at a Marriott. Wow. 300,000 miles in the air. Yeah. So I was hustling, and it was.
I want to travel with you.
Yeah.
Executive lounges, man.
and it was awesome for a season, but it's exhausting. And so to be home with my family, my wife Sarah, my daughter Mercy, my son Emerson is one thing, and then to have a church family where I get to show up every day and bring my best gifts in a place that feels like a full-on redemption tour. Yeah. I just wake up every day saying thanks be to God for my family and for my church family. Yeah. So that's what I would say is most.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I would love to have a Herman Miller Eames chair. That would be something I would love. I don't have one, but that would be awesome. So I would talk about that, but I like the design of them.
They got the dupes though.
They do.
Those are a lot cheaper.
A lot cheaper. Yeah, that's right. That's right. So
oh, that's awesome, man. Well, you're where you serve and your teaching is a gift. I know you and I were at the Chicago Fellowship event, and I took your teaching, repackaged it for like a family Devo session, and I don't know if this means anything, but my teenage daughters were like, clock it a bunch when I was really just re-saying what you had already told me that week. But it's a gift, man. One thing I'm loving right now, two. One, both family related as well. I always prepare a couple of these because I don't know like how serious. Sometimes it's super serious, and then I come in with like, I love my coffee mug.
I love lamp.
I love lamp. One, my 9-year-old, we got him a set of goalposts for Christmas. So we have this literal like 8-foot by 10-foot goalposts in our yard right now.
That's awesome.
And he's kicking field goals over and over again.
That's amazing.
And so here's the secret. Did you know they use different footballs for kicking?
They do.
I learned this like last week.
Yep.
And I got suspicious because the football that came with the goalposts, it's bouncy.
It's bouncy.
I kicked it, and I thought it wasn't going to come down. And I'm like, I don't have a strong leg. What's magical about this ball? So I know why they're breaking all the records in the kicking. The other thing is having 2 teenage daughters. One thing I've been loving with them is watching TV with them. We've gone through seasons 1 through 4 of The West Wing, which is our favorite show.
Aaron Sorkin.
Yes. And now we've moved on to The Newsroom with them. And it's just like, we get to watch like good TV
Totally.
that like makes you think, makes you feel, well written, awesome characters, strong female role models. I'm like, it's just so cool.
It is. It is.
Come a long way from PBS Kids. So
no, it's such a good point. Like my son and I just went and, saw Marty Supreme and just all right, let's, and we just went and talked for an hour about, and he like wrote this whole kind of like the difference between characters, and he was like, Marty Supreme's like chasing relevance and chasing this, and just compared to the Dune character, like, and he's just I love, like, to your point, being able to like hear and see the world and then go, dang, I never thought about that. I'm stealing that for a sermon, you know, like it's just like, I'm taking that one, you know? So I just like, it's cool to see the world through their kingdom eyes too.
Yeah. That's awesome. Dude, thank you so much for
Oh,
doing
bro,
this.
it's an honor to be with you, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.